My images are extremely formalistic. Every picture has to be organic in nature, which means that everything in the picture has a purpose. And if you remove one aspect of the picture, then it kills everything else in the picture. So you're looking at an organic being. A photograph is an organic being. And the tighter it's linked, the more interwebbed it's linked, little pieces to little pieces, the better the chance of creating a great image. In 1969 or 70, something like this, I went down to Mexico from California, and there were two women that I was going to take to central Mexico with me because that's where I was going. And I kept stopping in all these towns to take pictures, and they got so frustrated and irritated with me that they took the bus. And that was sort of the way I was. I was so obsessed with taking pictures by the time I was age 20 that it actually never really changed. I've been obsessed with this since my teens, I guess, and habituated to this. Maybe it's an obsession now, I don't know. It's very complicated, taking pictures. Not something you can just put your finger on it, how it works, how it evolves. And you're always doing it from the point of view of your eyes looking outward. I'm not an observer of myself doing anything. And I can't observe the way my mind is working because my mind is observing itself in a way. It's impossible to be able to know how the mind thinks and relates to what it's doing. So, it's quite mysterious. And many times people say, well, what inspires you, Mr. Ballen, Dr. Ballen, whatever you want to call me? And I say, well, look, the thing that really inspires me in so many ways is the pictures I take, because, you start with nothing, and then you create this picture, it's like a baby. It's something that comes from nowhere, and you create this thing, and that's, to me, quite an inspiring experience, creating great pictures. Look, it is important to perhaps get to know people on some level that they can relax or work with you, but, it's not a necessity. And the camera doesn't really reflect words. It's a visual recording instrument. So, you may listen for 5 years to somebody's stories, but it still doesn't help you with the picture. So it helps you with the fact that, when you say, Mr. Jones, would you mind getting off your bed and sitting on the chair because I want to take your picture? He's more likely to cooperate after 5 years of listening to a story than walking to his room and never saw you before and saying, would you please get off your bed and sit on the chair because I want to photograph you. So, but on the, it doesn't mean that it's going to help you take the picture, really. Well, the animals, for a long time have been an important part of my pictures. I mean, animals are sort of like children. They're very spontaneous. They're not really aware of the camera. They're not interested in the camera. They just go ahead and do their thing. And it's sort of nice because you have that spontaneity with the animal. The animal's just moving around doing things, and you're trying to fit them into the picture. Like, and children are sort of the same way. They sort of quickly forget about the camera and do their thing. I always said the worst thing to photograph is old ladies. They're self-conscious and can't get out of the sofa, get off the sofa. So, you're stuck in a situation where you can't get any movement out of what you're doing. So, I like working with animals because when you look at an animal, you can't really, there's no value judgment involved. You can't really say, oh, this person looks poor, or this person looks disturbed, or this person looks like she's just went to the beauty parlor. You can't really place any value on the animal. The animal's mysterious, enigmatic in itself. So I think I've liked working with them because they raise more questions in so many ways than answers. So they become an important part of my pictures. They have been an important part of my pictures, I think, for at least 30 years now. It's a common comment among people, oh, Mr. Ballen, the pictures are dark and disturbing. Yeah, yeah, I heard this all before. But please just understand one thing when you say that word, which I might not tell the person, you're really saying you're scared of your own being. Why are they so disturbing? Well, they shouldn't be. They're disturbing because they're unearthing places in your psyche that you've buried. The theater of the absurd is basically a show that tries to define, to simplify, to reflect on the human existential experience. That's what the theater of the absurd is. It shows ultimately the way people live a life or project their life or project themselves in a fundamental existential sensibility of meaninglessness. So we're all trying to do things, show off, project ourselves, reflect on ourselves, but we all ultimately know that whatever we do actually has no meaning. It doesn't answer any fundamental question. No matter what we do, we're still faced with the same fundamental problems. Where do we come from and where are we going?